Daily Broadside in 956. Let's take a moment and discuss sodomy laws in North America. You know, it's weird that some of these laws existed in the first place. For example, it wasn't until like 20 years ago that some of these states, like the last of the states, repealed sodomy laws. Now, sodomy could, include a bunch of stuff, which oddly enough, it always seems to include bestiality. I have an issue including lumping bestiality in with other forms of sodomy. I don't think that's not the same thing. Okay, I think we can all agree that bestiality is wrong in any sense, in any form, any of that. Anybody that's pro bestiality, I don't think we should even take your opinion into consideration. So why that's lumped into there, I think that should be like its own thing. Like, But anyway, but my question to you is, it's like they even like I can understand why like you couldn't do certain things legally back in the day unless you were married because we've got this religious right in the country that wants everything to be proper and family oriented, and then if you go through the right steps and you get married, then you can do whatever you want and all this. I kind of understand. I don't agree with that, but I understand why that is. But some of that stuff was in some states illegal, even to married people. And my question is like, did they not do it? Like, do they not know what it is? Like, because you would think if you'd have done it, you'd have been like, well, we should totally legalize this. This is not bad. This is a pretty good idea we've come up with here. I don't get that. But anyway, such is life in the 21st century. I was looking at this girl the other day, and she was wearing some kind of long coat, right? And I asked a girl later on that day. I said, "Hey, what do they call these coats these girls are wearing? They're like real long." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I described it," and she's like, "Oh, that's a duster." And I'm like, "A duster? Like Wyatt and Virgil Earp wore, like in the Wild West days?" And she's like, "I mean, I guess." She's like, and I look it up, and sure enough, it's a duster. These are A, not very good looking, and B, I don't like the fact that they didn't come up with a new name for these things because this thing looks like it's made out of like jute or something. I don't know what jute is. It sounds like some kind of South American, you know, plant or something that came out of a jungle. But I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Um, but like, I think to call it a duster when a duster is Wild West overcoat material, I think they could have come up with something a little bit, unique to what women are wearing these days. But I can't get into them, especially when they come down. Instead of like being cut square, they kind of have this rounded like thing from like the knee down to the ankle. That's not a good look to me. I mean, if you've got them, you wear it. You flaunt it the way you want. I don't care. I'm just saying, me personally, if I see it, I'm going to judge you. Um, and I was thinking about how the nose works, and I don't really know how the nose works. Smell is kind of if you think about smell, like and taste for that matter, but smell is especially, it's kind of a fascinating concept. Like, I was thinking about the fact that you can't smell inside your nose, right? You can only smell things that are outside the body. Like if I dip my finger into, you know, honey or grape jelly and go like this, I can smell honey or grape jelly coming from my finger, right? But if I'm just smelling, I don't know what the inside of my nose smells like. Does that make any sense, or is that just kind of stupid? But then if I put grape jelly into my nose, I would smell grape jelly. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense or if that's the dumbest thing anyone's ever said, but I just find it odd that, for the most part, you can't smell the inside of your body. I guess your olfactory senses only exist in certain, like, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I think that we should all tell our friends, anybody that you're close to, friends, relatives, whatever, countrymen, perhaps you're any of your countrymen, stop people from doing backflips, okay, in public. If you're going to do a backflip, you need to be in a gym with like a padded floor. One of those gym mats, those gymnast courts or whatever they're called, with the spongy floor and all that stuff, or practicing in a foam pit or something. These people, I'm seeing way too many videos of people doing backflips off of like concrete structures in a downtown area, and they're like doing a backflip over a railing below and then trying to land on steps or something, and it's like, quit. This never ends well. And even if it does end well, it's going to make you want to do it again, which then, bumps up the chance you're not going to make it the second time. But B, what have you learned? What have you gained by that? By doing a backflip and sticking the landing, like, wow, we're all impressed. We'll watch that video again, I guess. I mean, that's just dumb. But I think that we really need to implore our loved ones and our friends and those comrades close to us to please stop doing this, because landing on your face and busting out the front teeth of your face, and, having to get your jaw realigned, or, blowing out a knee or something, it's just not worth the quote unquote fame you'll get from landing. It just doesn't make any sense. And there were people in my school all growing up that, didn't have trapper keepers. They didn't have binders. They didn't have folders. They didn't have anything for myriad reasons. I don't know what those are. I'm sure I could come up with a few, but it doesn't matter why. But they would just have a backpack, and at the end of the day, they would just shove their papers into the backpack, to go home for the day or the weekend or whatever. And then they'd come to school the next week, and, everything would be, I would either fold stuff in half and stick it in my book, or I would put it in my trapper keeper, because we always got trapper keepers at the beginning of the school year, because that's what you did in 1987. But to be able to just shove papers loosely, fold it all mangled to hell into a backpack, just willy-nilly, all hodgepodgey and all that stuff. Like, to do that, the mental illness that it takes and I'm not saying you got to be like OCD with your stuff, but dude, that's just straight up, mental illness right there. Those people are all in wards somewhere by this point, because that's not how you should act at all in a civilized society. That's all I have.